Hello traders, this is Rich from tradesight. This is a look at the market leading ETFs for the coming session. This is going to be for Monday, May 5th, 2014. Got a couple downside signals here this morning. We've got two CPS conditions, one in the diamonds and one in the IWM small caps. You also have a downside RPS in the mid caps. So right now the broad market scans are definitely indicating lean towards the downside. It would be nice to hear from the spiders and the Qs, but they're just really close to the day's open and really not showing too much at this time. Moving on to the domestic sectors, not a lot of weakness here, but there are just a couple things scattered throughout here. A couple of deviations to note. We've got a volume bump here in the PPH, and we also have one in the XLU. The XLU is pretty weak today, well more than 1% below the day's open, and fairly weak and below the day's VWAP as well. This carry is flirting with a contra candle to the downside. That one is also pretty weak and actually getting weaker as the day goes on here. It's pretty well below the day's VWAP, so definitely those things are a couple of things to keep on the radar. Moving on to the commodity sectors, we've got a volume bump in GLD. That's trading unusual volume. The dollar was definitely moving around today after the non-farm number, so we could see some more movement next week as well. The SLV is also moving around, and with the extra volatility of silver, you can see how that's affecting the shares there. DBA's got a downside CPS. That's a fairly broad-based one that focuses on the agricultural sector. And that's on okay volume. Not seeing too much in the bonds, but we do have a volume bump in the TLT. They are pretty strong today, but we're not getting a signal associated with that. It is 1% above the day's open. The LQD does have a downside RPS, but it's light on volume today. As far as the foreign names goes, leaning a little bit to the sell side here. A couple of RPS signals to the downside and one CPS. That's the RSX, so that could be interesting for sure. Pretty good volume today in the EWZ, and that one's 2.5% above the day's open, and even still 1% above the day's VWAP. Moving on to the specials. Special longs are a little bit sloppy. You've got a downside CPS in the SSO. TWM has a contra candle to the upside, and we're getting a volume bump here in the TBT, which is the double leveraged TLT inverse. All right, so here's a look at our watch list with the bar counts on it. As you can see, with the broad-based majors, there's really nothing showing up right now in the exhaustion phase. So really just need to focus on the startup phase, and the startup phases are still very immature here as for now. A couple things to note though: the OIH is still 12 bars up and just one away from the exhaustion signal on the Comer, and already has it in place on the aggressive seeker. The XLP is 13 bars up in the standard seeker and 12 bars up in the standard Comer, so we could definitely get a signal reinforcement from the Comer early next week in that one, and that would definitely be something that you want to be aware of. All right, folks, good luck next week. As always, thanks for listening. This has been Rich for tradesight.